So we are live. Hi everybody, my name is Manan Puri and I'm the co-founder of Dream Compass. We are a study abroad advisory cum consulting firm. So from the entire life cycle, from school selection to preparing your applications or helping you preparing your applications, interview process, and then post MBA journey as well. Once you get in. Um, since the admission season is almost about to end, and a lot of schools have already done with their round twos and round threes, and now is the time a lot of people are now looking for the next steps or the next big headache, so to speak, when it comes to admissions. And this is about financing the journey. Majority of you would be spending close to 90 lakhs INR plus on your masters and MBA journeys, and it's important for us to understand how to finances, any best practices while doing that. There are other elements like forex, opening of bank accounts, etc., that we'll need to look at. And today we have with us Dev and Payal from FRR Forex, and they've been around in this space for a very long time. Dev himself is an Oxford alum, and he has firsthand done the journey of financing his study abroad journey already. So we'll hear from them in terms of everything. Contrary to our usual sessions, we will have a presentation this time around because there are two MBAs here and we can't do without presentations. So they will be presenting, a few slides again, just very quickly, and majority of the session we will then cover around Q&A and whatever you guys want to cover. So let's start with this. Dev and Payal, why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Let's start with you, Payal.
Payal, you're not
Payal.
I'm so sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Payal Chawla, and I've been associated with this company for the last 20 plus years. And it has been a great journey in terms of, guiding all the students, the parents, and helping them in getting their fees remitted to, to soothe them to ease out their process of transferring the fees very easily with our help. And I'm sure we'll help you out in this process. Once the presentation is done, we are open for the question and answers, and you can anytime let us know. Get in touch with us. I'm based out of Delhi. Our office is in Nehru Place. We'll put up the address and the number for you, so you may all connect with us soon. Dave is based out of Mumbai. He's the director of the company, and I will give the podium to him to introduce and take the presentation on forward.
Thanks, Payal. Thanks, Manan, for having us here. It's a pleasure to be here and be associated with you guys. You guys are definitely doing some great work in this space, and we are always looking to see how we can add value to you and potentially help your students in financing their overseas education. So, good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. I'm Dev Mehta, and I run my family business, and we are the name of our company is FRR Forex. So before I think there is an opportunity for me to introduce ourselves in the presentation. So I'm not going to take any more time, and I am straight going to dive into the presentation just for everyone's interest. Oops, sorry. I'm first going to quickly show you a video about ourselves, so that will introduce ourselves, and then I'm going to dive into the education loans and the forex part of it. So just watch the video first. It's 2 minutes. You'll get an idea of who we are.
Hello and welcome to FRR Forex. I'm Dev Mehta, a third generation entrepreneur. In this video, I'll be walking you through the benefits of transacting with us and how we can be your perfect foreign exchange solution. Having been in the business since 1983, we understand exactly what it takes to help you sail through your overseas education journey. I've had the good fortune of doing my undergrad from Pace University in the US and my MBA from Oxford University in UK. So I know exactly how exciting this journey is for you. And that is why with us at FRR Forex, the last thing you need to worry about is high foreign exchange rates, hidden charges, unresponsive call centers, and cumbersome documentation. Some of the key advantages of working with us are our special rates, and low processing charges that make a significant monetary difference. An excellent on-demand customer service to address all your concerns promptly, and a smooth online KYC process which ensures that no unknown person can access your sensitive information. What's more, our value-added services like overseas student medical insurance and education loans, which are hard to find with most other companies of our nature. This means that all your requirements could be fulfilled under one roof. We go the extra mile to enable you to hedge your exposure so that you don't get too affected by the depreciating Indian rupee. Our remittance process is super seamless. Get in touch with us at least a day or two prior, submit all your documents, and complete your online KYC. On the day you'd like to make the transfer, all you need to do is make the payment at the mutually agreed upon rate, and you're good to go. Our partner bank will then transfer the funds to the beneficiary, and we will provide you the SWIFT copy the following morning. That's it! With all this, we also provide multi-currency cards, student travel packages, and internships, making FRR Forex your trusted one-stop shop. It's our commitment to make your overseas education finances a breeze. And that's why we guarantee you more money for your money.
So quickly, that was a very, very brief introduction about ourselves, but now diving into the presentation, and what we are really here to understand today is how do we really do it, right? And there are just to cut the chase and make it very simple. It's potentially there are just two ways you can do it. Either you take an education loan from an Indian lender, or some very many people are not aware that you can take overseas education loans as well. So it's one of the two options, and then obviously it is self-funding through your savings, through your parents' savings, through your family savings, right? So I'm going to quickly give you a brief idea. I know some of you have asked some great questions before, which Manan has shared with us. So most of these questions will be kind of addressed in the presentation. So please feel free to ask us more questions as follow-ups, right? So now addressing the education loan apart from Indian lenders. I believe most of the crowd here is either going abroad for a master's or an MBA. So both the options are open for you, where you take a secured loan as well as you can avail of a secured loan as well as an unsecured loan. So secured loan, as the name suggests, is obviously a loan where you take a loan given and give a collateral against it. Obviously here the interest rates are significantly lower than an unsecured loan, because in an unsecured loan you only have a cosigner and you don't really have a collateral. So the interest rate differential is around 2%. For a secured loan it is around 8 to 10%, and for an unsecured loan it is 10 to 12%. Generally in a secured loan, the collateral that you end up giving is generally property, because let's like Manan mentioned earlier, most of you would be spending around most of you would be spending around, give or take, 90 lakh rupees if you are going abroad for your education. So you would generally have to give a property. But in an unsecured loan, even though you don't have to give a collateral, based on your co-signer's credit score, or rather credit history, you will be sanctioned a loan generally. Okay, and this is a very, very general statement. 90% of the times the maximum amount of that you can avail on an unsecured loan is 50 lakhs of rupees. There are a handful, like not even a handful, maybe one or two lenders who do give an unsecured loan of up to 75 lakhs. But that honestly has two determining factors. The first being how strong your co-signers or your co-borrowers credit history is, and two, which academic institution you are attending. So it depending on the caliber of the school. So if you're going to a top tier college, generally you will be able to get about a 75 to 80 lakh rupee loan. There is only one lender in my experience yet that is giving more than 75 lakhs, but that again is mainly for the top 3 or 4 business schools for MBAs only. Right now I think they deal with M7 only. So we can deal with we can run those applications as well. Very tricky, but I don't see any reason why, if you are attending M7, if you're attending an M7 business school, I don't see any reason why you should not try to see if you can get an education loan for more than 75 lakhs of rupees. Both the loans have generally a repayment period of 2 years, 10 years, and the moratorium period for both secured and unsecured loans generally is 6 to 12 months. It depends from lender to lender. Majority of the lenders end up having 6 months as the moratorium period. For both secured and unsecured loan, there are no prepayment charges. So if you want to foreclose your loan before 10 years, you got some cash flow and you want to prepay some of the loan, most of the lenders don't have a prepayment charges. In both the cases, obviously, you can get tax benefit, though with some unsecured loans, like if you are taking it from an NBFC, not all the NBFCs are permitted by the government to give the tax benefit to the remitter. So just keep that in mind. There are only, I think, 1 or 2 NBFCs that are permitted to do so. Again, very brief, very quick rundown of the Indian taking an education loan from the Indian lenders. So if you have any follow-up questions, I know, Manan, we do have a few follow-up questions that are not covered, but we'll cover that in the Q&A. Now, there is what very many people are not aware. If you are going to study in the US, you can take an education loan in the US as well, right? So again, out there are 2 types of loans. One is with a cosigner and one is without a cosigner. I'm going to focus on the loans that you can avail through a cosigner, and I'll tell you why I prefer these as compared to without a cosigner just after I'm done with this. So if you have a relative or a friend in the US who's a US citizen or a green card holder, you can avail an education loan in the US. The interest rate can be as low as 5%. Now this used to be 5. This is 5%, but about 1.5 to 2 years ago, it was same 5% was 2%. Only with the increase in the Fed rates, the interest rates for education loans have also gone up. Simple as logic may say it, you can get a lower interest rate depending on how good your cosigner's credit score is. The better the score, the lower the interest rate. Simple logic, right? Now you can avail of the entire loan amount that is mentioned on your I-20. So most of the MBA programs go surplus of $100,000 in or close to $100,000. So so do the master's programs. So you can avail the entire amount on your I-20. The repayment period, the minimum repayment period is generally 5 or 7 years, and then everyone, that depends from lender to lender, but then everyone offers 10 to 15 years. Like the Indian loan, there are no prepayment charges if you want to foreclose your loan early. The best part about taking an education loan in the US, and this is what I love the most about the US education loan. First and the most important thing, every academic year is a new loan. So you can decide, the guys who are doing a 2-year MBA, I don't want to take a loan in the first year, I'll take a loan in the second year. You are not burdened to take the entire loan amount right now. Second is you can change your cosigner every single year because it is a new loan. So you may not want to burden your one relative. If you have 2 relatives, you can kind of distribute the burden, so as to speak. And the third, is depending on the interest rate for the next academic year, you can decide whether you want to take the loan at all or not, right? So if the interest rates are higher, you may not choose to take it. If the interest rates are lower, that's great, because then you are not stuck with the same 1 year loan. Now, these are some of the salient features. Obviously, we can talk about the more nitty-gritties, but this is the majority, the most important features according to us. Now, the reason why I'm saying that I would always recommend taking this over taking an education loan in the US without a co-signer is because there are several institutions that offer this. There are several lenders that offer this. There's like Empower, Prodigy, etc. Right now, these loans are around 10%, in and around 10 to 11%, okay, without a co-signer. And if you are going to pay 10 or 11% in the US, according to me, it's better that you take the loan from India itself, right? If you have the option, right? Also, there are criteria that you have to adhere to in India. But if you are considering taking an education loan like from a Prodigy or a Empower, I would personally recommend that you take it from a Indian lender if you have the facility to do so, only because of the interest rate differential. Now, coming to the second part, which is the self-funding part of the process. There, obviously, if you take an education loan in India, we can help you remit the funds. That is also absolutely fine. We can also help you remit the funds if you have self-funded. So an overseas transfer is what in our banking parlance, as we call it, is called a TT, a telegraphic transfer, or a remittance. So ideally, if you want to do a remittance, whether you've taken an education loan or not, get in touch with us at least 2 or 3 days prior, so that we can send you an email. You can submit all the documents to us. We can get your KYC done. This generally takes 24 hours, right? Getting your KYC, we keep it as 1 working day. So that's why try not to come to us at the nth hour. Just plan yourself properly, so that you also have enough time to send us the documents. The reason why we say this is because, come June, July, August, or rather July, August, September, we are also processing lots of payments on a day-to-day basis. So we want to ensure that your payment is being processed seamlessly and properly rather than in a rush. So contact us at least a couple of days prior. Submit all your documents to us over email. We will get your KYC done. Now, in the following slides, you will see as to how we send you the rate, the charges, the GST, the TCS, all of it. We will send you an Excel sheet calculation, and you have to ensure that you transfer the funds to us by 2 p.m. on the same day, right? So that is very important, because we need to further process it. And if you don't transfer the funds to us by 2 p.m., your remittance will get processed on the following day. The following morning, if we will send you what we call as the SWIFT copy or the confirmation copy, which is a proof that the funds have gone out from our end. And obviously, you can verify this with the students. If the money is going to the student's account, or if the money is going to the university, you can send this to the university as well. Now, coming to quickly to what the documentation is, it's very simple documentation, not anything unnecessary, unheard of. In most cases, the remitter is the parent, or in many cases the student. We will require the remitter's Aadhaar card and PAN card, both self-attested. We will send you what we call as the Form A2, which is required by RBI for any outward remittance. And obviously, we will require the mobile number and email address of the remitter to get the KYC done. From the student's perspective, we will require the student's front and last page of the passport. If you as students are funding your own education or have taken the loan on your name, we would require your passport and your Aadhaar card, both self-attested. We would require proof of your university acceptance letter, or for those who are going to the US, you can give us your I-20. That's absolutely fine. In many cases, the universities ask for the payment directly to their account. So you have to give us the university invoice and the bank details. Or if you are transferring the funds to your own account, or if the parents are transferring to your account as a student, we will obviously require your bank account details as well. There are very many schools in the US and Canada especially, that ask for payments through these two payment portals, which I will explain in the following slides, called Flywire and Convera, right? I will get to it, not to worry. And lastly, if you have taken an education loan, we will require your education loan disbursement letter in order to get the TCS benefit, which I will also be covering in the following slides. So, a very simple documentation. All this documentation is one-time documentation. You don't need to keep submitting it to us over and over again. So once we have it in our system, the next time you can literally say, hey Dave, hey Payal, I want to transfer $10,000, just send me the amount and transfer the funds to us, right? So we are trying to make it as seamless and as easy for you as possible in order to transact with us. Also, guys, I don't intentionally mean to keep saying US dollar, but that's the most frequented currency, because most number of students go to the US to study. The process is the same for Canada, UK, Singapore, Australia, anywhere in Europe, France. A lot of business school guys go to INSEAD, HEC, etc. It's all the same. The documentation all remains the same. There's nothing different. So don't kind of get confused if I just keep saying the US or USD. Now, coming to how we can add value to you, right? We've spoken about the education loan front. We work with several partners on the education loan front, but also we can help you transfer the money abroad. And the first and the most important question that I get asked is, Dave, why should I come to you over going to my bank? And I love to answer that question every single day, because most of you I'm sure you are maintaining bank accounts with various banks like HDFC, Kotak, Axis, ICICI, State Bank, Bank of Baroda, whatever be it, right? Our rates are far more competitive as compared to a bank, because Forex is our core business. And for a bank, it's a value-added service. So what happens is the way the bank looks at it is, customer aaya, customer ne pucha, to humne rate diya, right? And that's where we add value, because we are able to offer better rates than a bank. Low processing charges, obviously, because again, banks charge, you save a couple of $1,000, but not anything fancy in the larger scheme of things, right? And obviously there are two the Flywire and Western Union, what I spoke about. Many universities, especially in the US, do ask for a comparison, for payments from Flywire only for international payments. So we've done a quick comparison out here. Post all charges, you end up saving about anywhere between 75 to 80 paisa per US dollar when you pay through us through Flywire. So most importantly, don't get fooled by Flywire in terms of they will always show their option to be the cheapest, but there is an option where you can pay through us. We are processing these remittances on a daily basis, so you can pay through us as well, and we will educate you on how this is to be done. Similarly, very popularly used by Canadian universities, Convera, which was earlier called as Western Union. You can save money on this as well. Little more than Flywire. Our rates are about 1 to 1.5 rupees cheaper per Canadian dollar or per pound as compared to Convera. Here we've shown the comparison like to like, 10,000 Canadian dollars. Post all charges, we are cheaper by almost 1 rupee and about 25 paisa or so. So, don't get flustered if your university asks you to make the payment directly. You can make the payment via us through these platforms. We're like I mentioned earlier, the process is completely seamless, completely online in dealing with us. You don't even need to step out of your home or office if you are using net banking, right? You don't even need to go to the bank branch to kind of transfer the funds. Obviously, you're more than welcome to come and set up a time at our office to meet with us. We are based in Delhi, Mumbai, Pune, Ahmedabad. So, you can definitely set up a time to meet with us. Now, coming to a fairly important topic, which is tax collected at source, which is or TCS. TCS has been introduced by the government of India since 1st of October 2020. And TCS is applicable on overseas education, which is your fee payments to the university, plus money being transferred to your account as a student, so which is maintenance of close relatives. Now let's understand how TCS is calculated. Every resident Indian is allowed to remit INR worth 7 lakhs of rupees per financial year without paying TCS. TCS will be levied on the differential amount above 7 lakhs. Obviously, the percentage of TCS that is going to be calculated will differ if you've taken an education loan, which is why we asked you which is why we always ask for the loan disbursement letter rather than the loan sanction letter when we are collecting your documentation if you've taken an education loan. If you've taken an education loan, the TCS amount above 7 lakhs will be 0.5%. If you have not taken an education loan and you're self-funding, it will be 5%. Now, again, 5% on 7 lakhs. So let me explain this very briefly. Suppose you do a remittance on 1st of June worth 20 lakhs of rupees to your university, and that's your first remittance of the financial year. You will pay TCS on 13 lakhs of rupees. Now, how much you pay is dependent on the education loan or self-funding. Say again, you are making a remittance on the 1st of December in the same financial year for another 20 lakhs of rupees. You at that time will pay TCS on the entire 20 lakhs because you crossed your 7 lakh rupee limit in June itself, right? So that is how TCS is calculated. Now, the one thing that you do need to remember is the government has introduced a new TCS regime in this budget, which is applicable from 1st of July 2023. For education, if you are paying to the university, it remains the same. The one place that we are yet to get clarification from, and we are yet figuring this out with bank compliance departments, is if the money is being transferred to the student's account for the maintenance of the day-to-day living expenses, does that attract 5% TCS or does that attract 20% TCS, is something that we are yet to get more clarity on. I think we should get it by the end of this month, early next month. But yes, before you have to start transferring your fees in July, August, we will definitely have clarity on that. So that is the only thing that we are pending for on clarity. TCS is just like TDS. It can be adjusted against the income tax that you pay at the end of the financial year or your parents pay at the end of financial year. It will appear in the remitters form 26AS. So suppose if you do a remittance in April, May, June quarter, it will appear in the remitters form 26AS by mid to end of August. So by around mid of the next quarter. We will be providing you a TCS certificate for the amount that you've paid, and any bank or any other institution will provide you just like a TDS certificate, so you can verify the same with your chartered accountant and your form 26AS. Just to give you a brief on our track record, we've serviced more than 1,500 students this past financial year alone. Over the past 3 years, we've transacted more than $65 million, and we've saved about 3.5 to 4 crores for all our customers in the past 3 years itself. So we've done a fair amount of work in this space, and we continue to keep growing. Some of the other services that we do provide, currency and forex cards. So if you're traveling and you need the first, till you open your bank account and all of that, you'll need some amount of money to spend. So we provide currency and forex cards for your first few weeks of expenses. We do help with opening a bank account in the US, and it can be done sitting in India and gets activated when you reach the US. Again, this is very specific only for the US. And we also provide ticketing services. So you can get in touch with us for these value-added services. We are based in Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, Chennai, and Ahmedabad. So like I said, feel free to come set up a time with us to meet if the need be, and we will be happy to kind of have you at our office, or even meet you outside. You can get in touch with myself or Payal if you have any further clarifications, if you need any further information. We are available on phone, email, WhatsApp. You can even take our contact details from Manan, and he'll be happy to provide the same whenever. We're also on social media. You can check us out on Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. During the June, July, August time, we do have special offers for students on remittances, so you can check us out at that time. So yeah, that's it from me. I would like to kind of open the floor to questions now and answer as many questions. Manan, I'm sure we can cover some of the questions that students had asked, but I think if there are more, we can cover those as well.
Sure. So I think first is which I got a chat was more around the fact that there are certain forex charges also that the students need to pay you or the banks, and does that also should be factored in while securing an education loan amount? Let's say somebody needs to transfer almost 1 crore of rupees over the next couple of years. Should that take care of some bit of currency hedging as well? How do the students think about the amount exactly that needs to be looked at for the loan?
Very good question. So barring last year, if you take out the average of the currency depreciation, it has been about 4.5 to 5%. Last year was an absolute anomaly where it was around 12 to 13%. I don't foresee the rupee depreciating so quickly, consistently. So yeah, you can take a buffer of 5% as your currency depreciation amount, in terms of if you are factoring for a loan or even your personal funds, and mobilizing them from India overseas. Again, I'm talking very specifically with regards to the US dollar. Um, there are the same amount of fluctuation is there in the pound. If you ask me, sometimes there's more fluctuation in the pound than the US dollar. uh, there's a lot of fluctuation these days in the Canadian dollar also. So you have to factor in this average of 5%. I'll give you an example, Manan. When I was from the time that I applied to Oxford, which was in January 2014, to the time I remitted my fees, I lost about $10 on the pound. Right, it was 90 rupees when I applied, and it was $100 when I remitted. So you can hedge also. We do, as you might have seen in the video, we do provide hedging services as well. So we can talk about that in detail. But you can only hedge in US dollar, pound, euro, and yen. You can't hedge in Canadian dollar, Singapore dollar, and all of those.
Got it. And is there also a concept of a fixed versus floating interest rate, especially with the Indian lenders that you look at? And if yes, then how should one opt for one over the other?
So majority of the Indian lenders have a fixed rate, and it's better to take the fixed rate, given at the rate at which interest rates are rising and are expected to probably rise this year also. um, if America increases interest rates, the entire world is going to increase interest rates, and so is India. So for the next couple of years, if you're looking to fund your education, just take the fixed interest rate. It will take a while for these interest rates to come down, at least 2 to 4 years. But this year, our forecast is that they are going to increase. They're likely to increase more. But as far as Indian lenders go, most of them will give you only a fixed rate. American lenders do give you the option of fixed and variable, but we advise taking the fixed rates given today's scenario.
Got it. And that's somebody who's about to go to the US for MBA. How much time, in your experience, has it taken on average, to pay off the student loan that they would have got, let's say, for a 2-year program, with or without a scholarship?
That's a good one. I think so. So most people who we've arranged loans for take the 5 to 7 year the minimum repayment period. And to be honest with you, given that you are expected to earn fairly well after graduating from a top business school in the US, most people that we have seen are taking the time to pay it off, right? No one is in a major hurry to pay off these loans unless and until you get like a crazy bonus or something like that. And then you're like, you just want to draw your loan down. Obviously, that's advisable to do so that you have lesser burden later on. But as far as our experience has gone, most MBAs like to enjoy, kind of the money that they're making, and they are able to pay off their EMIs. So they are happy paying it off in 5 to 7 years. Very few really foreclose the loan or even part of the loan earlier than expected.
Got it. And when it comes to majorly the top 15 B schools that are there, right? Um are the rates that are given to those students better than, let's say, for a 30 plus ranking?
No. So if you are taking a loan from India, which B school you go to doesn't matter, right? Except the loan amount. Like I said earlier, there are, for an unsecured loan, there are maybe two lenders that I can think of at this point in time that are giving more than 50 lakhs. Some are giving 75 and some are giving even a crore of rupees. But that's again for a top M7. Um, Here, the sole deciding factor is the credit history of your co-borrower or yourself if you are taking the loan on your name. In the US, it is the same. Uh, the US lenders also are very sure that they are lending on on your co-signer's credit history and not your credentials as to your GRE scores or your GMAT scores or your TOEFL scores or which university you're going to. It's purely based on your ability to absorb that loan and repay the loan, nothing else.
Right. And are there any advantages of taking it from an Indian bank versus a foreign bank?
So, sorry, I'm going to hold off on. I'm just going to answer one more thing to the previous question. So, guys, to give you an example, Prodigy. I'm just giving you an example. Not every school that you go to, you will be available for a Prodigy loan. So, Prodigy does look at which university you're going to and only lends depending on the ranking or their internal metrics and also the course that you're going for. So the interest rate doesn't really differ, but your eligibility to get the loan differs on which business school you're going to. So that was on the previous question. Sorry, Manan, can you repeat the next question that you were asking?
Advantage of taking a loan from an Indian lender versus Indian. When I say Indian lender, Indian public sector bank versus a foreign bank or a private sector lender as well.
Okay, so I'm going to compare this. This is a great question. A PSU bank in India is not going to give you a loan, is not going to give you an unsecured loan for your entire education. You may get an unsecured loan from a PSU bank, but that will be for like 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs, depending on the relationship that you have at the branch, right? But that's not going to do you any good. All PSU banks require collateral. And the time that they take is just crazy. We have seen anywhere between 3 to 5 months is what PSU banks take to get your loan sanctioned, because they'll come, value the house, value the property, and depending on that, they'll sanction the loan to you, right? So that takes a fair amount of time. In terms of the private lenders, where you're taking an unsecured loan, you will end up about, say, a month to 2 months, maybe 1 or 2 months. And if you are looking to take a loan from a lender in the US, that's maybe 3 to 4 weeks. So taking a loan in the US is by far the most seamless process that I have seen. Everything is online. Here in India, what happens? Paper do, ye do, wo do, ye paper reh gaya is is constantly on. No matter how, whether private, public, it doesn't matter. That tug of war is always on. In the US, it's seamless, quick. Even the non-cosigner loan is very quick and very seamless. Everything is paperless, and the entire process end to end, if done like clockwork, will be done in 4 to 5 weeks.
Got it. Got it. And if you want to take in the US, then isn't a co-signer a mandatory requirement, or
There are both options available, like I said. But right now, looking at the interest rates, it makes more sense to take the loan with a cosigner in the US. Without the cosigner loan, I wouldn't recommend taking it. It would, because you'll be paying around 10.5 to 11.5% without a cosigner in the US. So then my recommendation is that if you have the capability of taking an unsecured loan in India, then you might as well just take that as compared to a non-cosigner based loan in the US. Also, in the US, it matters if you're taking a non-cosigner based loan, which institution you're attending. So that is a key criteria.
got it? And just explain the process around the forex transfer. Now, there are certain cases where the bank itself will transfer directly to the university, right? Does that attract lesser forex charges? And where do you come into the picture, or any other forex player comes into the picture, versus the bank transferring to the student's account and the student transferring to the university?
Okay. So again, there are, if you have taken a loan from a PSU bank like an SBI or a Bank of Baroda or a Punjab National Bank, these are the three most aggressive. You are going to have to transfer the money. The bank is going to transfer the money for you. No questions asked. It's part of your contract, right? And at that time, the forex rate is in their hand. Forget the charges. The charges don't matter so much. GST is the same everywhere. TCS the same. TCS is the same everywhere. Forex charges are maybe 1,000-1,500 rupees, but the rate is completely in their hand, right? But from what we have seen is, for most master students, again, most master students don't take a secured loan. Most master students take an unsecured loan. And when you take an unsecured loan, the lender generally transfers the funds to the student's account or to the parent's account, and then the parent or student can decide how they want to transfer the money. Again, that's where we come into play. We can, our charges, like I mentioned, are definitely lesser than a bank. And average, I've seen about 70 to 80 paisa lesser than a bank. So let's say you're transferring $100,000, you're saving about 80,000, 90,000 bucks, which potentially is your 1 month's what do you call it,
Expense overseas.
expense that you would probably incur. $1,000 is probably what you will incur as an expense.
Got it. Got it. Cool. I think these were the questions that people asked on chat or otherwise. Are there any closing comments in terms of one best practice that you would want to advise students on while they're looking at financing their journey?
Sorry, Manan, I just saw in the comments Rupali Kapoor has asked a question. So Rupali, answering your question, what are the advantages of having a cosigner in Canada? Unfortunately, we don't have an option for you where you can take a loan in Canadian dollars with a cosigner. Earlier, we used to have the option where you can have a cosigner in the US, take the loan in the US, but pay it off in, like, use it for your education in Canada, but that also doesn't exist anymore. So if you want to take a loan, if you're going to Canada to study, your only option is to take it from India.
Thank you. And the final comments.
Yes. So final comments. I mean, we've gone over a lot of information, I think, in this 45 minutes. So I'm sure you guys have a lot of follow-up questions, or mull over this, sleep over this. and you'll probably have more questions, get in touch. But my one advice to everyone is that whatever you do, just do it with someone, whether you're taking a loan or you're transferring money, do with someone that you can really trust, because um, or you can rely on, because the loan and all is very critical to you going abroad to study. So just do it with someone who's trustworthy, just do it with someone who's who you can rely on, because these guys are, whether, in my opinion, whether PSU bank or a NBFC, a private lender, their way of working is the same. So just, you will have to be on top of things, you will have to consistently follow up, because you need to get your work done. And on the forex front also, there is a lot of riffraff, so as to speak, out there. Please, I mean, you don't have to do it with us, but this is a large sum of money that you're transferring. So again, don't just be careful about who you're transferring it with, because people are up to all sorts of nonsense in this space. I don't want to say anything further, but people are genuinely up to a lot of nonsense in this space. So you just want to be careful about who you're dealing with, whether the loan or the forex fund. I think that's the most important thing that you guys should adhere to. And if you do it with the right people, you won't have a problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Dev and Payal, for taking your time. And to the viewers, whoever is or will be watching this, feel free to reach out to Dev or Payal in case you need any information around the entire forex journey. You don't necessarily have to sign up with them or anything else, and I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help in terms of clarifying various doubts that you might have. And all the best for your MBA journey, and more importantly, right now, for the financing bit, which will give you a lot of headaches based on past experience. So, thank you so much, and have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you guys. Have a good one. Thanks, Manan, for having
Thank
us
you,
here.
everyone. Thank you. Good
Thank
night.
you.